I have two brief questions I'd like to ask, if I may.
Hi, welcome to Left Foot Media. My name is Brendan Malone and you're watching The Daily Question. Today's question of the day: what does the latest Jordan Peterson interview tell us about the state of the media? I'm going to post a link in the description below so you can watch that interview for yourself. It's on a British television show. It's not a long interview, but it's very, very revealing in what it shows. The first question that he's asked is all about how he rose to prominence with his opposition to compelled speech in Canada around gender pronouns. So his opposition to the idea that we should be using the blunt force instrument of the law to punish people if they don't say the right things about other people. The second question is where the whole thing just unravels and falls to bits, and from there it just gets worse. The second question that he's asked is, do you believe that a trans woman is a real woman? That question is absurd on multiple levels. First of all, it's absurd because it's got nothing to do with the original point that he was making, okay? It's got nothing to do with whether or not we should be compelling people's speech. That's a completely separate question altogether. It's nothing more than an entrapment question. It's designed to try and paint him in a particular light and to undermine the actual thing which he stood for and which he rose to prominence on. Secondly, it's absurd because of the fact that it's a self-contradictory question. The question actually answers itself. Jordan Peterson actually points this out when he asks her, what do you mean by real? The fact that there are real women indicates that there is a reality called womanhood that certain people are. They meet the criteria for that reality. They are woman. And there are other people who don't meet the criteria of being real woman, right? So the question actually answers itself. Thirdly, who's asking this question? Seriously, of course a trans woman is not a real woman. To be a real woman, it's not simply to have a certain psychological state, to have a psychological belief that you are a woman. A real woman has a womb. A real woman has XX chromosomes, right? There is biology, there's genetics, there is a scientific reality here that is at play. So unless you believe that womanhood is nothing more than a psychological state, a belief that you have, then that is a completely absurd question to be asking. Like I said, this is nothing more than an ambush question. It is designed to set Peterson up, and from that point onwards, the interview just spirals into the usual media madness. You've got questions where the interviewer is not listening to the answers that are given. You've got talking across the subject. There's no real thoughtful dialogue or communication happening here. And for me, this is just another one of those stereotypical examples to show how far journalism has fallen and why journalism is just no longer a trusted profession. Consistently in poll after poll, journalists now rank as one of the least trusted professions. And when you see this kind of stuff, it's totally understandable why, right? The problem is that what it's doing is it's actually, not only is it not helping to foster a good, honest and open dialogue that is rational, that is intelligent about important issues, but it's actually just helping to foster the exact opposite, this extreme polarization and this extreme tribalism. And that's not good for us. And I guess the most ironic and absurd thing of all is that a lot of the journalists who are participating in perpetrating this kind of stuff, because there are some journalists who are still doing good journalism, unfortunately they are not in the majority at the moment. Right? The majority is this kind of clickbait material, this kind of agenda-driven, ideologically motivated ambush type stuff that's not clever, that's not intelligent, that's not contributing to the discourse, that's only actually making the discourse in the public square worse. But the irony is that the journalists who are doing this kind of stuff are probably going to be the first people who are going to decry the fact that we're living in a post-truth era, and they usually want to try and pin it all on Donald Trump and the whole fake news thing. But the fact is that Donald Trump didn't create the post-truth era. Journalists like this actually helped to create the post-truth era, and now they are helping to propagate it. They don't seem to realize that at the heart of journalism and good journalistic ethics should be this concept of integrity and truth-telling. It just seems that that's all gone out the window. No longer is it about an objective engagement with important issues. Now it is about trying to preach or trying to shut down ideas from people that you disagree with or don't like. Whatever you want to call that, that's not journalism and it's not good for society. The floor is now open. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you like the content I'm creating and you'd like to see more of it, then please support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. There's a link in the description below and a link on screen at the end of this video. That's right, I can hear my theme music too. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily Question.